investing is going through a lot of evolution, almost to revolution, and how people invest their money. The reality is that investing used to be only for the rich. That was it. And if you weren't rich, there were very, very few options available to you. Because even something like an individual stock trade, if you wanted to buy a stock, you would maybe pay $400 for a trade. In today's dollars, gosh, that might be $2,000 for an individual trade. It was only for big institutions and rich people. And so we've been through this transformation over time where today stock trades are essentially free if you go to one of the discounters. Free. I mean, that's amazing. You buy and sell for nothing. We've got all these low-cost investments that I love, the exchange-traded funds, the index funds, and yet there's still a lot of people in the business clinging to old models, old methods. And I don't need to dwell on how much I don't want you going to an insurance company to ever handle investments for you, because their business model is all about not doing what's in your best interest. They will not enter into a fiduciary arrangement with you where they are legally required to do what's in your best interest. They charge big upfront commissions or ongoing commissions, and then they charge high fees for whatever they put you in. And then the bank-based brokerage operations, not as bad on the curve as the insurance companies, in my opinion, but they're on that edge of the curve. And then you start moving to the other side of the ledger, and you've got these fee-only planners that the base model that the industry's adopted is 1% of the amount of money you give them to handle. That's what you pay. And as your assets grow, you pay more money. And as I've said till I'm blue in the face, you don't need to pay somebody 1% to come up with a portfolio for you. There are all these online tools that do a fantastic job building portfolios based on your age and situation and all that. And they're much cheaper than that 1%. But what if you do want some personal attention, you want help with portfolio, you want help with different planning, like are you on goal? What are your goals? Doing classic financial planning and being a fiduciary, which means that they are legally required to do what's in your best interest, which the bank-based brokerages don't want to do, and the insurance companies don't want to do. So you now have the option of another model. There are more companies than I realized until I read a Barron's article recently where you can hire somebody for a flat fee like you'd hire an accountant or a lawyer, and you pay them an annual retainer. And it's not based on how many assets you have. And you can pay them, the fees vary on how much services you want from them. So if you are just interested in them helping you look at what you're doing and telling you, yeah, no, maybe you should do this, that, or the other with where you invest your money, that's going to be a lower fee. But if you want tax planning, you want estate planning, you want to deal with making sure you're on target for goals, all those kind of things, you're going to pay more. But the thing that's interesting about this and the philosophy, I talked to several of these people when I was at the Bogleheads convention speaking last year, and I listened to the philosophy of people doing these flat fees. And their thing was, hey, you know what? We have somebody who comes in with $50,000. It takes us pretty much the same amount of time to advise them as somebody with $500,000. If we take somebody with $500,000, compare it to somebody with $1.5 million, it's still very similar time. So why would we charge a percent of assets? We're just selling our time, our expertise, our guidance and advice. And so this is another model to consider. But remember this division with a difference. Whether you go with a 1% person, you hire a fiduciary at Vanguard for 0.3% or less. You go to somebody who's charging flat fees like this. Always, they must be a fiduciary. Fiduciary is a multi-syllable word. I don't do well with them. But what it means and why it's so important for your life, your future, and your financial security is a fiduciary is legally required to do what's in your best interest. Remember, the bank-based brokerages, almost always, the insurance companies, pretty much always, and some of the fee planners may not be fiduciaries, which means they will sell you stuff that gets them the free trip to Hawaii or gets them bigger commissions or helps them win the sales contest or whatever that has nothing to do with what's best for you. And here's the dirty thing you need to know about many of the bank-based brokerages. Their salespeople, I don't call them investment advisors, their salespeople will be given a notice, internal company notice, that they're to push this master limited partnership or this private placement or whatever. That's what they're supposed to push right now on their clients. Why? Because they earn giant fees for the bank. Not for your benefit, for the bank's benefit. Be aware, even if that's a really nice man or woman you're dealing with at the bank-based brokerage, almost always, even if they wanted to sell you good stuff, they may be required to sell you junk.